Hey, what is going on, YouTubers? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Aiden's Odd Aquariums. Today's a little bit of a shorter one. I'm just doing a simple 20 litre tank build for my partner. Just wanted something black water with heavily planted, and I'll take you through step by step. Okay, so basically with a little 20 litre, I just wanted to start off by adding just some root tabs into the base of the tank. It really is going to help the plants down the track find the nutrients. So I just started by breaking the capsules open and spreading them out along the bottom of the tank. The gravel that's going to go in on top of it eventually will cap it and seal in a lot of the nutrients, so that way it doesn't escape into the water column. Okay, so next up is bio substrate. It's a coarse multicolored gravel. I just thought it looked really nice and would have suited the idea of the dark woods that are going into the tank. Now, it hadn't been washed or anything like that because it's got all the beneficial bacteria in it. So I ended up just pouring the whole lot in, which I ended up regretting later on because it just filled the tank with murky water. But you'll see that later on. So I just spread it out nice and even, just to make sure I covered all of the root tabs and made sure that nothing was going to escape. You can see I get a little bit paranoid with how I like laying it out. I suppose everybody has their things. Okay, first up was this really nice little cave-like piece of driftwood, and one I bought from the pet store. That one actually came with the tank, the lighter colour one. So I just wanted to set them up in a way that it kind of just tried to hide the filtration relatively well, but also gave a lot of nice different coloured textures to the tank while it was going. Now I propped this first piece up with just a few spare rocks I had from a previous scape, and I tried my best to get them to glue down, but they didn't end up, so luckily enough it didn't float, so I got very lucky with that. And just popping the second one in, I really wanted to keep that cave look going that it came with. But yeah, this one I was worried about floating because it hadn't been waterlogged as far as I knew. So yeah, I just used some brush on Aquarium safe super glue and just tried sticking the two pieces together, which I then later stuck to the rocks as well to keep them all in place. And then I added a few larger pieces of some really nice petrified wood, which I'd already scrubbed and cleaned right out. They got some wicked colours and some awesome textures to them, and I really thought it suited the style with the gravel and the real dark wood textures and colours. So yeah, I just went about super gluing those together and locking them all in place so that nothing moved after I'd filled it up with water. You can see I was having a little bit of drama, but I managed to get it worked out. Now for the nice big piece of petrified wood, under the light you'll definitely be able to see it's got some awesome yellow colours in it, the different grains. And then just a nice dark, almost marble looking piece of petrified wood just at the front. Now it's just a matter of locking it all in place and making sure nothing moves. You can see I really took my time to make sure everything was locked down, because the last thing I need is just bits of driftwood and plants floating around in the tank. Right, now I moved on to just a sponge filter that I chucked in the corner, and I run the air pump up to the corner to a power point, and I just, cut the hose to length so that way there was not a lot of excess, and plumbed it all in up out of the way. After that, I'm pretty sure it was time to, I ended up putting down some yoga mat underneath the air pump because it decided it wanted to try and run away on me. So just, cut out a real small square and put it under the rubber feet, and it sort of just locks it in on the timber stand that it was on. Right, now it's onto the plants. Now, I cannot for the life of me remember the name of this moss, but it was pretty dear for a little bit, but my partner did suggest the one thing she wanted was she wanted it on that piece of timber. So I ended up getting it back out and plastering it down with some super glue in hopes to get it to stick. And it ended up taking to it really well, and it just looks brilliant. Adds this nice vein of green down the tree, like tree trunk style. And I can't wait till it takes off. Alright, next up is this awesome big Anubias. Like, this thing is huge. And it's actually flowering. I have never seen that. I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was so nice. Anyway, I just went about super gluing the rhizome down onto the piece of petrified wood and locking it in. Held it there for a few seconds and blew a bit of cool breeze on it, and it was just ready to go. Next up is banana lilies. Now again, I haven't used these before, but they were just so strange looking, and the lady at the pet shop she had them sitting there. I thought, wow, those are so like out of place and so odd, and I've seen pictures of them making lilies on top of the water, and they just really fell out different levels of the tank. So I put them in opposite corners to see how they'll go, and hopefully they take off, and if they do prove to get a little too big, I can always relocate them, but we'll see how we go. Now this one, massive mat of Monte Carlo. I didn't realize I'd gotten it. I bought it as a different name. Anyway, I just ended up sticking it to a few pieces of the petrified wood, and I would love to see it carpet some more, at least weep down and spread out a little bit, really create some nice low green cover across the gravel, and try and break up some of all of the, like, create different areas, or at least help blend them together, which I think would look fantastic. Now it's just as simple as topping it up with water. I did forget to waterlog the sponge filter, so it ended up taking up on me. But I sorted that out and got it done. Now you can see there, because the substrate wasn't washed, it is so murky. And that seems to be a thing with me. I always end up getting the murkiest tanks, even after washing the substrates and doing everything I can to prevent it. It just turns out murky as ever, which is such a pain in the backside sometimes. Now, it was time to whack the light on and get ready for the final product. I didn't realize that my phone wasn't adjusting to the light exposure properly, so I just about blinded the camera, which was a bit of a bugger. Now, it's still really murky there, but you hopefully will be able to see the different parts of the tank I've created, and the focal point being the big Anubias with the flower in the middle. Personally, I think it looks amazing, but here I just added some AccuClear to try and clear the water up, and a little bit of beneficial bacteria just to get it started, even though the gravel's already supposedly loaded with it, just to really kick it into overdrive and get it ready for some inhabitants. And there we have it. The water cleared up after a couple of hours. Plants are looking fantastic. The light is doing a brilliant job at bringing those awesome greens out. I just think it's just such a small tank. It is such a cool looking little setup. Now, the plan is hopefully to just put a few little pygmy cories in there, and it's just going to be sitting up on an office desk eventually for a bit of a distraction from studying, which hopefully she really likes. Well, that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed it. I think next time I'll probably end up just doing a tour of some of the tanks I've already built around the house, and I'd love to show you the stocking and some of the ideas I've had, and I've also got some big plans for some slightly larger tanks coming up in the future, which I reckon is going to pique some people's interest. But anyway, thank you so much for chiming in. If you want to leave a like, subscribing always helps. It really goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. But otherwise, I'll catch you all next time.